Hi, my name is Vishwas from Applied Information Sciences. I'm going to be demonstrating to you the Hurricane Sandy demo from the Technology Roadmap event in Washington, D.C. yesterday. And before I show you the demo, let me just show you some pre-steps that I performed, which will allow you to watch this demo. So let me bring up this next slide. And this shows you how I collected the raw data, and then we'll be looking at the demo itself. So what I did was I collected some raw census data, and then I uploaded it into HDFS within HD Insight or the Hadoop instance within Windows Azure. Then I ran a Hive query on it to figure out the demographics, in this case specifically to figure out the above 70 population, and you will see why in a minute. So Hive query allows us to write SQL-like statements, which internally are turned into MapReduce jobs. So once the jobs are complete, we opened Excel, and using the Hive ODBC driver, imported that data into Excel. We also got some data from NOAA. We got some hurricane data about the Sandy storm, and we brought that data into an Excel Power Pivot. Okay, so we got data from HD Insight based on our Hive query, and then we got data from NOAA about the hurricane data about Sandy, and then we created a Power Pivot. And at this time, when I'm going to transition into Excel here, assume that this Power Pivot has been created. And then once I have the Power Pivot, I can use tools such as PowerMap to visualize that data. So I'm inside Excel 2013, and I have a preview version of PowerMap installed. Let's go ahead and click on that and bring it up. And I have a couple of tours already created. And just to show you what a tour looks like, or creation of tour looks like, I'm going to click on the new tour, and then we are going to spend most of our time in the tour that I just created before this recording. So let's go ahead and bring up PowerMap here, and let me pull it here, right here. And what you see here on the right hand side is the Power Pivot data. So remember that we created a Power Pivot, an in-memory cube essentially from the data that we got from Hadoop and the data that we got from NOAA. Okay, so that's represented here. The hierarchy of that cube essentially is represented here in the PowerMap tool, and I'm running the preview version of the PowerMap tool. And just to show you how I create a scene, a tour is a collection of scenes. I'm just going to create a very simple tour here with one scene essentially. So let's just go ahead and look at the rainfall data. The first thing I want to do is set up the geography, and I'm going to go select the county, and just let's select county here and then go next. And it is asking me for what type of information do I want to map. Let's just map some rainfall data, and I'm going to go bring it here. And the next thing I'm also going to do is let's just get ourselves heat map, so it allows us to visualize this rainfall data more easily. And here's the legend. It shows us if the rainfall is greater than this, then the color would be this, etc. So that's the heat map indicator right here. If I get this out of the way, you can see now, and let's just get this out of the way as well. You can see now that I have taken this Power Pivot data and mapped it. And again, this data is about the Hurricane Sandy data set. So I can see the predicted rainfall on my east coast and what are the areas that are going to be impacted the most. Okay, so this is how a tour is created, and I've already created one. So let's just switch back to that. I'm going to go close this and not save this. Let's just go back to PowerMap, and let's just open the one that I've created, which gives us more information. So let's bring this up and pull this again into our view here. And as you can see, I created a bunch of scenes. And the idea here is that if you have a bunch of scenes, you're able to, present this information in a manner that somebody can then consume. So for example, I have this first scene, which again shows my rainfall data. And if I go further down, this is the East Coast view of the rainfall data. And this is where I start bringing in some of my data from Hadoop. Remember, we brought in the census data, and I've put this on the map. It is showing us my demographics, the population that's most vulnerable, age 7 to 74, where are they located. And now I can also bring in the rainfall data associated with that. And then finally, I can combine all of this and figure out where do I need to deploy my emergency resources, because this is where the rainfall is, this is where my population demographics is, and I can take this data set and start planning that information. So the absolute last thing I want to do as part of this demo is actually to play the entire tour for you. So we saw the individual screens. In fact, we created one of the scenes. And you saw that I created these scenes by dragging and dropping data from the Power Pivot that we had created. And what the tour allows you to do, or the playing the tour allows you to do, is transition these scenes so it makes sense for somebody viewing this information in this manner. So not only can I drag and drop data and decide on what type of charts, whether it is heat maps or pivot charts or etc. What I want to do, in addition, I can annotate each of these steps in my tour to make this information more consumable by my users. So let's go ahead and play this tour very quickly. I might even fast forward some of the scenes because it takes several minutes to play. Here you see the rainfall data from Sandy, and of course we want to focus on the East Coast. And here's what the rainfall data on the East Coast looks like. And if I transition forward, here's where my Hadoop data comes into play. And I got this data into Power Pivot, and I was able to map it. You can see the elderly population, which pockets, where are they located in. And this is showing me all of the rainfall data. Remember the scene that we created earlier? And that was, now I've taken it and mashed up all of this information, the rainfall data, my demographic data, and now I'm able to plan how I want to plan my emergency resources. What you see here is also a very cool timeline view. So in addition to the weather data, I also took the hurricane information and played it in a timeline. So you can see the path the storm is going to take and where it is going to make a landfall. So I can take all of this information along with the wind speeds and take this data into account and do my planning steps accordingly. So hope you found this demo useful, and download the latest version of PowerMap and try to play with these data sets, and hope this is useful. Thank you.